Welcome to Conquer AI Search, the podcast where we crack open the future of search technology. I'm your host, Avi, joined today by Catherine, and we're about to take you inside the AI revolution, reshaping how we discover information online. Whether you're an SEO pro, digital marketer, or tech enthusiast, you're in the right place. This episode delivers actionable insights you can use immediately to stay ahead in the AI search game. Quick announcement. We're giving our listeners exclusive access to 10 premium marketing courses ranging from $19 to $199, completely free. These are real value-packed resources, not fluff. Just tell us which one you want in the comments. To our loyal listeners, you're why we do this. New to the show? Hit subscribe now so you never miss these cutting-edge discussions.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving into a concept that's, well, it's becoming really crucial for anyone navigating the age of AI. It's called Generative Engine Optimization.
Or GEO for short, yeah.
GEO for short.
That's right. And if you feel like the internet's changing how we find things online, you're definitely not alone. AI is really shaking things up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, AI is getting so much better at just giving you the answer, right?
Yeah.
Summarizing things directly. One source I saw put it quite nicely saying, AI is getting chattier than your aunt at Thanksgiving.
Ah, that's a good one.
And, this chattiness, it has huge implications for how your content actually gets found. We're seeing these forecasts predicting quite a big drop in traditional organic web traffic because people are just turning to AI first.
Exactly. And the studies back that up. Something like over 40% of users are saying they prefer the direct answers from AI now instead of scrolling through pages of search results.
Wow, 40%.
Yeah. And here's the kicker. When these generative engines think Google's AI overviews, ChatGPT, Copilot, Perplexity AI, when they do pull info from the web for their answers, well, they often reference way fewer sources, maybe fewer than 5 of the top 10 traditional results.
So just ranking high in Google isn't quite the same guarantee it used to be.
Not for getting cited by the AI, no. Visibility is changing.
Okay, so in this kind of new world, how do you make sure your brand, your content, it's not just visible, but it's actually, recommended and represented correctly by these AIs?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's exactly what GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, is trying to solve. It's about optimizing for these new platforms.
Got it. Optimizing for the AIs themselves.
Precisely. And in this podcast, we're going to get into the very first, probably the most fundamental technique for GEO right now. And that's implementing the LLMs.txt file.
LLMs.txt. Okay, and just for clarity, how do you say that?
Good point. It's LLMs.txt. So 2 L sounds at the start. LLMs.txt.
LLMs.txt. Got it. Sounds technical, but you're saying it's foundational.
Absolutely. It's step 1. We'll definitely cover other GEO techniques in future podcasts, but understanding this LLMs.txt file is where you really need to begin.
Okay, let's unpack it then. What is this LLMs.txt file?
All right. So fundamentally, it's just a simple text file. Usually you format it using Markdown, which is pretty easy to use, and you place it right in the root directory of your website.
Root directory, so like where robots.txt live.
Exactly like that. It's right there alongside robots.txt, but its job is quite different.
How so?
Well, robots.txt mostly tells traditional search crawlers, Googlebot, Bingbot, what they shouldn't crawl, mainly for indexing purposes. LLMs.txt is aimed specifically at the large language models, the LLMs. Think ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini.
Okay.
It's designed to guide them on how to understand and process your content. Its main goal isn't about training data. It's about helping the LLMs during what's called inference use.
Inference use.
Right.
Right. So that's when the AI is actually using the content in real time to answer a question someone asked it or maybe summarize a topic.
Precisely. That exact moment, you're essentially giving the AI a structured guide, a map to the knowledge on your site, right when it's figuring out what to say. The concept itself, it popped up around 2024, proposed by Jeremy Howard at answer.ai.
Answer.ai.
Yeah, and it caught on pretty quickly. Companies started looking into how they could use it.
So if I go ahead and make one of these LLMs.txt files, what kind of instructions can I actually put in there? What does it let me do?
Good question. It mainly helps with 3 strategic things for the AI models. First is content prioritization.
Prioritization.
Yeah, you basically highlight your most important pages, your key resources. This signals to the AI, hey, This stuff is probably the most relevant if you're answering questions about us.
Ah, okay. So the AI is maybe more likely to pull information from my main product page rather than, I don't know, some obscure comment thread somewhere on the site.
That's the idea. It helps shape the AI's output. Second, it provides context.
Context.
You can give a brief explanation of what your site is all about, or maybe how different sections relate to each other. Helps the AI see the bigger picture. And third, you can suggest some access control.
Control, like robots.txt.
Sort of, but more like advice. You can advise the AI to treat certain content differently during inference, maybe outdated articles, or sensitive user data areas, perhaps ignore them, or just handle them with care.
Okay, so it sounds like you're giving the AI a kind of curated, almost expert-level tour of your website's knowledge.
That's a really good way to put it. The whole point is to give these LLMs information that's concise, easy for them to parse, formatted just for them. That's why Markdown is good simple for humans and machines. This structure just makes it easier for them to find and understand information during that inference phase.
Right, makes sense technically. But you mentioned it's a voluntary signal, yeah. So if Google or OpenAI, they aren't required to actually follow what's in my LLMs.txt file.
Yeah.
Why should I bother? Why put in the effort?
Now that's where it gets strategically interesting and really hits the why should you care point. Think back, way back to the early days of web search.
Right.
Remember how lots of websites initially tried to block search engine crawlers altogether?
Yeah, I remember that.
But eventually they realized, wait, if we want to be found, if we want to be relevant, we actually have to play ball. We have to optimize for these search engines. We're kind of seeing a similar dynamic emerging now with generative AI.
So the thinking is, if you want your content cited accurately, if you want it represented the way you intend by the AI, you kind of need to give it some guidance.
Precisely. Using LLMs.txt file gives you a level of influence over how these AI models interpret your stuff that we just haven't had before. Early experiments are suggesting that sites with a well-structured LLMs.txt file actually see their content get cited more accurately, more completely by AI models.
That seems huge,
Oh.
especially for, brand reputation, making sure the AI isn't misrepresenting your information when it summarizes it.
Absolutely huge. I saw an example where a company used their file to tell an AI, when summarizing product reviews, to prioritize the verified customer testimonials.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. And to downplay maybe less reliable comments from forums. That's a direct way to protect your brand message within an AI-generated summary.
Or you're signaling what's authoritative.
Exactly. What's authoritative, what's supplementary, maybe what's old news. Plus, while it's not its main job, there's a thought that if LLMs can get what they need efficiently from this file, it could potentially lead to performance benefits. Maybe less need for extensive crawling for every single query.
Okay, so how is this really different from the tools we already kind of use?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned robots.txt, but what about a sitemap.xml?
Great question. They all live nearby, but they serve different masters and different purposes. Robots.txt, that's for traditional search bots, controlling crawl access, telling them where they can and can't go on your site for indexing.
Okay, access control.
Right. Sitemap.xml is also for those search engines, basically giving them a list of pages you want them to find and index. Helps with discovery in traditional search results.
And LLMs.txt.
That one's specifically talking to the AI models, the LLMs, guiding their understanding and inference based on the content they access. It's less about blocking access, much more about providing that structured, prioritized view of your site's knowledge, specifically for AI consumption.
So robots.txt is like a bouncer, checking IDs at the door and telling bots where they can go.
Yeah.
But LLMs.txt is more like a friendly guide inside,
Yeah,
telling the AI what's important and how things connect.
that's a perfect analogy. Robots.txt says what you can access. LLMs.txt file suggests how to interpret and use what you find there. It's a suggestion, a signal, not a hard rule like robots.txt often is.
A voluntary suggestion system.
Exactly. Its adoption is voluntary. There isn't, formal universal support across every single AI platform just yet. But putting one in place now, it's like getting ahead of the curve. You're providing a helpful framework for AI, even if not every single directive is perfectly honored by every model today. It's really a strategic move for the future.
So how does someone actually do it? Let's walk through the practical steps. Seems like there are 4 main ones.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Step 1 is plan. You need to look at your own site. What are your absolute must-have pages? Your 5, 10 core pieces of content.
Non-negotiables.
Right. Then what's secondary? And importantly, is there anything the AI should be careful with or maybe ignore? Think about how these pieces relate too. Do a quick content audit.
Okay, plan done. Then you actually write the file.
Yep, open a simple text editor, create a new file, use Markdown. You'll typically have sections like site name, a brief site description, then your core content list with page titles and URLs.
The links you identify.
Exactly. Then maybe a content to handle with care section, explaining what and why, and perhaps additional context if needed. It's logical. There are examples online, like for a cooking blog, it might list recipes and techniques as core content.
Simple structure. Next is implement, getting it online.
Correct. Save the file specifically as LLMs.txt. Super important. Make sure the encoding is UTF-8 plain text. Most basic text editors do this by default, but double check.
Encoding matters. Then upload.
Upload it to your website's root directory, the top level folder, same place as robots.txt or your main index page. Use your hosting file manager, FTP, whatever you normally use.
And then check it.
Crucial final step. Go to your browser and type yourdomain.com/LLMs.txt. You should see the text you just wrote. That confirms it's live and accessible.
Plan, write, implement, verify. What's the last step?
Update. This isn't a one-and-done task. Your site evolves, you add amazing new content, maybe restructure things. You need to keep this file current.
How often?
A quarterly review is a good starting point. Or update it whenever you make major changes, or if you notice AI isn't quite getting your site right, it's a living document.
Makes sense. Now, just to really nail the distinction, how is this different from robots.txt or sitemap.xml? People might have those already.
Good clarification. They serve different purposes. Robots.txt, that's for traditional search engine crawlers. It's basically access control. You can crawl here, you cannot crawl there.
The bouncer at the door for crawlers.
Pretty much. Then sitemap.xml, that's a map for those crawlers. It lists all the pages you want them to find and potentially index. An inventory.
A map of the club.
Yeah.
So robots is permission, sitemap is the layout.
And LLMs.txt. It's specifically for the AI models. It's not about controlling crawling access like robots or being a full index like sitemap. Its job is to help the AI understand and summarize your key content accurately. It provides context and priorities for the AI's thinking process.
Okay. It's a communication layer purely for the AI's comprehension.
You got it. Tailored for generative AI.
This has been super helpful, really demystifying LLMs.txt is that first GEO step. But is this the whole game? Is implementing this file all there is to GEO?
Oh, definitely not. This is step one, the starting block. At AI Monitor, we look at GEO much more broadly. There are on-page GEO techniques, off-page GEO, and other technical GEO elements. LLMs.txt is just one, albeit foundational, piece of the technical puzzle.
So it's the base camp for climbing the GEO mountain.
Nice analogy, yes. More advanced strategies like fine-tuning content priorities within the file, better defining context, maybe even using LLMs-full.txt for really complex sites, they all build on this initial setup.
And of course, you need to track if it's working, which is where tools like AI Monitor help measure things like AI citations, maybe AI-driven traffic.
Absolutely. Measuring the impact is key. And we are seeing big players like HubSpot, Zapier already implementing these kinds of AI guidance files. It's happening now.
It's real. Okay, let's wrap this deep dive. Key takeaway.
Yeah.
The search world is changing fast. Traditional SEO isn't enough.
Nope. GEO is the new imperative.
And that first actionable step you can take today is implementing the LLMs.txt.
It's a simple way to start guiding AI, telling it how to understand your content correctly. We really encourage you listening. Audit your core content, write that file, get it uploaded, take control.
Because, and I think this really sums it up, in this age of AI search, visibility isn't just about being found anymore.
It's about being understood. And your LLMs.txt file is your primary tool right now to ensure AI systems comprehend and properly represent your content to the world.
A powerful thought to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive from the Conquer AI Search with AI podcast.
We'll definitely explore more GEO techniques next time.
That wraps another power-packed episode of Conquer AI Search. If you found today's discussion valuable, do us a huge favor. Share it with one person who needs to hear this. Don't forget, our free course giveaway is still open. Drop your pick in the comments and we'll send it your way, no strings attached. We'd love to continue the conversation. Connect with us on LinkedIn or Twitter to share your biggest takeaways or suggest topics for future episodes. A massive thank you to our incredible listeners. You're the reason we keep bringing you the most forward-thinking content in AI search. Stay curious, keep innovating, and remember, The future belongs to those who understand how AI is rewriting the rules of search. Until next.